Okay. All right. So first of all, what we're going to do here in a little bit, we're going to check out textbooks. I'm going to hand them out. They're going to come out in groups. If you get a book cover, so be it. If you don't, so be it. But first assignment of the year is get a book cover on said textbook I'm going to hand out. Don't fight over them. If you notice that it's broken or something, then hand it back and I'll try to get you another one. But I'm going to hand out books here in a second. They're individually numbered. They could have weird numbers on there, 4-digit numbers, ones with letters and symbols and weird stuff. I need to know exactly what it is. So if it's like 007 or if it's 03, I need to know exactly what number it is. Now when I call your name out, and I'm going to turn off the camera when we get to that part, you just say your number or whatever numbers it is, and then your group is going to confirm that's what they're seeing as well. Because a couple years ago I had a student that was dyslexic. They told me 27. The end of the year, they turn in book 72. We have a problem. You're 50 numbers off. That's not your book that you checked out. You know, they said 27, their book was 72. That's a problem. That's a big problem.
They didn't mention that they were dyslexic?
No. So, I didn't know this. Again, throwing me under the bus. Didn't know said thing. So, when we get there and you tell me your number, I need your group to honestly look and go, yes, that's the right number. Because I don't want to charge you $100-some at the end of the year if that's what the book cost for a replacement because you told me the wrong number in the wrong order. So, it's a serious thing. I need to know it. I'm going to turn off the camera. We're going to hand out some books. Yeah. So, I'm gonna tell you the address to it. But it doesn't have every chapter, so I'm just warning you that. I don't know why whoever scanned these in by hand didn't include certain chapters. Don't know why, so I'm just gonna give you the link. So it's a shameless plug, I know. If you go to my website, so here's the addresses for my website. It's mrward.org, ghvmath.com, it's one of those. I'd like you to go there right now on your Chromebook. Shameless plug, there's no ads, I don't collect any revenue. Even the videos I host on YouTube, I do not collect ads or ad revenue, and I don't have any advertisements on them. I just need you to know that because I don't want to be illegal. So I don't collect any money from said website or videos. So
what if we give you money?
I will not accept it. Now, here's the idea. I don't know about the middle address, HS Math. I don't know if it's hsmath.org. Don't call me that. I just use the outer two. Once you get to my website, I would suggest, just as a precaution, just bookmark it. I know it's a shameless plug, but that way if you need to know the address or you need to go watch a video, you're gone for sports or something, or maybe you're gone for personal reasons, you can at least watch the video what you missed that day. It won't be the greatest video, but it'll work. I mean, it'll show you what we did, you can hear what we talked about, you can see the homework and all that good stuff. Question?
The middle one is .org.
Is.org. Okay, I'll fix that later. Okay, good to know. All right. So, so now I know it's a shameless plug. Sorry. When you get to my website, there's the addresses. It should look like this, correct?
Yeah.
Now, if you scroll down, you can see like what we did today in class. This would have been, this section right here is always what we do like yesterday. So like tonight when I go home, I'll update the website with what we did today. So it's always on late. I can't quote what time I do it because again, I have a 1-year-old and a 7-year-old at home, so I don't know what time I post. So it's whatever time I get free. But you can scroll through, you can see all the classes I teach, you can click. You can click any of these links, it'll basically tell you the same outline you see here. It'll be a very generic outline. It'll tell you if we have homework or anything assigned. It'll give you links to the videos and all that good stuff. Now, some people don't like to scroll. I totally understand. And again, that only shows you what we did yesterday. If you go to the top here and you go to daily lessons, at the very top of my website, it has a drop down. This will give you a link to all the videos throughout the entire year, not just what we did yesterday. So again, that's daily lessons at the top, and I'm going to go down to pre-cal because that's what you guys are. So you go down here, and now it shows you all the videos for the whole year. Now obviously this is yesterday's. When I show you today's video, after I'm done recording this, I'll post it later tonight. That will show up either here or in the front. I think it always goes in the front. But it'll be one of these pictures. It'll be a new graphic, and it'll have a click through. So when you click on them, it'll show you what we did. A very generic outline. It'll show you if we have any homework or not, and then it'll show you PowerPoints if we did anything, and then video. The video is recorded in 4K. It's got closed captioning, all the good stuff. So you can click on whatever you need to. So, all right. But there you go. So that's like the generic stuff. Now I'm going to go back to that pre-calc. So I'm going to go back to that page that I showed you a little bit ago, this one. All right, so we're here, correct?
Yep.
So you did the drop down from daily lessons, click pre-calc, you're here. The online textbook link is right here. Technically, I'm not supposed to be sharing it, but we own the copies of the books, so technically I think I can. So, so this is the link for the online textbook. As you can see, it's got the chapters. You can see the ones I've tried to click on. It doesn't have every chapter, but it has a lot of them. Like I noticed for some random reason it doesn't have chapter 8 and 9. I don't know why. Those are chapters we cover. So at some point, you will have to have your textbook. It's nice that it's there. You don't always have to have your physical copy of your book with you, especially when you're like kind of out and about, but it's still kind of a pain in the butt because it doesn't have everything. So again, I did not host this site. I don't know who did this. Probably super illegal, but I'm just giving you the link to it because it's on the internet somewhere. What? All right. Now, that is the online textbook. There's no account. There's nothing like that. That's if you want to use it. I don't know how much you're going to ever use that. I don't know how much you're ever going to use your physical copy of your book. Maybe you'll only use the online version. I don't know. I will do book questions like out of the textbook. I will have worksheets. I will have Google Forms. I kind of switch it up. We kind of rotate them. Now, are we good on the online textbook, your physical book? What does our assignment do this Friday? Book cover. If you have a book cover on there and you want to leave it on there, you're good. You already have your 5 points. Don't fail the first week of pre-calc because you forgot to put a book cover on. Don't do that. I don't want to send out that parent email. Okay? Don't do it. Okay, now, the next thing. I know we got to get through all this weird junk. I need you... Question?
Does the book cover have to be a paper bag?
No, it can be a paper bag, it can be the little socky stretchy thing, it can be something that I don't really know about, but it cannot be just 2 pieces of paper stuck to the front and back. It's gotta be like a legit cover. It could be a newspaper, it could be something that's cool that I don't even know about yet. So it's gotta be something that's really protective, so. Okay, all right, now, the next thing, now that we have this all taken care of, I need you to log into Google Classroom. Let's get logged in there. Google Classroom. Yeah, I don't have anything posted yet, but I just want to make sure everyone has got logged into what, period 6 pre-calc. Is anyone not in period 6 pre-calc for the Google Classroom? Max, probably, I don't know if you're added on there yet. Probably should check.
Oh, you added me.
I did? Okay. You did accept it?
No.
Not yet, okay. I just want to make sure everyone that's in Google Classroom that you can access it. Now, why I use Google Classroom, just so you're aware. I'll do it if I'm going to change a due date for an assignment. Let's get that off the board. That's weird. Okay. If I change an assignment date, I'll put that on there. If I assign something in Google Classroom, obviously like a form or something, it could be just simple as like tonight. I'm going to send out a link on there that'll say welcome back to class. Here's a link to my website. Here's the link to the online textbook. Here's the link to Google Classroom and that type of thing. That way you know where things are at. I'll even put in there the disclaimer like we have homework due this Friday. It's a book cover, and I'll try to remind you. I won't send it out every day. It'll only be on like the days I assign stuff, and I'll put 0 dates on there and all that good stuff. I still post a JMC lesson planner. I still post to my website, but this is just, I think this is better than doing like a remind me where I have to collect your phone numbers. That's weird and creepy. I don't want to do that. So it's like a nice, easy way. It just emails you and you know what things are due and whatnot. So questions with any of that stuff with Google Classroom and whatnot? Okay. All right. That's all this administrative things that I have going on. Is there any questions you guys have? If you didn't get logged into the classroom, let me know. If I need to send out another link to that. I think almost everybody's added. So, except for Max, I'll have to send you another link. I don't think I added you to period 6 yet. Or I didn't send the invite yet. Okay, there you go. Okay. Anyone else not on the Google Classroom? It will be essential that you're in there, because I will just post assignments sometimes in there only. Okay. All right. So you know your first assignment of the day. Now let's get to the actual stuff we need to. So let's get rid of this. All right. Wow, that's impressive. Okay. Next thing, we need to talk about our topics. So we're in the prerequisite section of your textbook. So if you have your physical textbook, let's open it up. I think it's page P.1, I think it is. It's prerequisite chapter, page 1. P.1. Yeah. Is it P.1? So it's got a 1. It might even be page 2 now if you flip past that. It's the prerequisite chapter. We're going to start here. We're going to do this for about 2 weeks or so. We are going to have a chapter test on this, so just be aware of that. I like to cover this first. There's about 4 or 5 sections we're going to cover. We're not doing it all. There's some things I mixed together. It's the reason why I need you all in the same baseline of Algebra 2 material so that when we get to the really kind of challenging. All right, so when I assign homework, I kind of just pick and choose problems. So it could be like problem 19, problem 27, problem 31, and I'm just going to punt. So your assignment will look menacing on the board. It's going to look big and long, but it could be only like 10 problems or 12 problems, just because I'm kind of punting and pecking certain problems I want you to know how to do. So just be aware of that. It's not like 1 through 20. My professor in college, when I took Calc 1, we had a similar book to this. In fact, I still have it. In fact, so let's see if I still have that textbook. So, yeah, there's my Calc 1 book in college. Really similar to yours, it's just paperback, not a hardcover, right? Super similar, like it's really hard to identify where the sections start. You could flip for days. There was like certain sections had 160 problems. My professor in college for Calc 1 would go, hey, so Monday, we take a few notes, we have a class for 45 minutes. He assigned 1 through 160. Whoa, 1 through 160. What? Tuesday, section 2. Whatever that was. Maybe there's 150 questions, 1 through 150. Oh, that was Tuesday. Now I'm up to like 300 questions, right? And he can't do this. Wednesday, next, 3rd section, did it again. And all stuff's due Friday. You have to turn it in a manila envelope, stuff all of your papers in there, all of them, and you had to like number them, like page number, what day it was, here's your problems. You had to staple those, put them in there, and then the next day, Tuesday, number them, label them, put them in that manila envelope, and you had to turn them in Friday. I had 500 problems before the end of the week. Every week. I don't do that. That's ridiculous. And he would grade like 4 or 5 problems in that whole assignment. He'd just go find one, that's the one I'm going to grade. Go to Tuesday, pick that problem. Go to Wednesday, pick that problem. You want to see if you're even doing them. It was like impossible to get them done. We had to work as a group to finish them because you couldn't do that many problems in that amount of time. It was wild. I don't do that. I just assign the ones we need. And I do grade every question. So I'm not that person that goes, I'm only picking 4. If I assign it, I grade it. So I want you to be aware of that. So try to get them done, finished, complete. So, but yeah, that's a monster of a task when you have that many problems. Every section looks like this. Flip through the book. Flip through just a couple pages. Examples are written in blue, with sometimes they're green capsule pills, but they're usually in blue highlighted words. They kind of walk you through how to do problems. Question?
Look in the top right. It says like P section.
The section, yeah. So that's how you can figure out the section that you're in. It says at the very top in like an italicized almost font right next to the page numbers. That's how you can kind of tell if you're in the right sections or not. Yeah, good call on that one. The book isn't bad. It's really not bad. It's just one of those things that you got to get used to the style. It's very different than our geometry book. Very different than your Algebra 2 book that you had. Yeah, it's a monster. Go back to page, I don't know, 15, 14, I don't know, somewhere in that range. Go back to that page. Yeah, 15, yeah, 14, 15. Okay, you have a picture of a couple sitting on a bench, correct? Yeah? Page 15, right? I have a picture of a couple?
Yeah.
Dog's with them, right? What's the dog doing? Nothing? Just standing? Anyone have a dog peeing on the person? That's a real thing. There's a couple books out there that are weird. They have the dog peeing on the neighbor, like the person sitting there. There's like 5 or 6 of them. I can't explain it. Every picture you'd see in the book has been modified to be somewhat inappropriate. And I don't know why. But there's only like 5 of the books, and they're random. One of you could have it. I have no idea. It doesn't look like anyone's got it. What? You have it? The dog's peeing on the person? Yeah, it's so weird. Every picture you're going to have in that book will be like the other textbooks, but it'll be inappropriate. And I can't explain it. So, when we get to a problem and we're trying to explain a picture, and Miguel, you're gonna figure this out, you're gonna be like, my picture doesn't look anything like that. You probably have the rare vote. There's like 5 of them.
It's got its leg up and all.
Yeah, no idea why. No idea. So, all the problems are the same, but the pictures will all look different. So, yeah, weird. Can't explain it. Okay, anyway. It's a really nice textbook. Don't break it. Don't throw it in your locker. Like, if you pick that thing up, it's got serious weight behind that book, right? You will snap the spine instantly. Emily already found a book that the pages were just falling out, right? So, yeah, the answer key. I'm pretty sure kids were just ripping the answer key out so that they could just check their answers. They didn't even want to flip through it. Don't do that. Leave them in there. It is a nice book. We're going to use it quite a bit. But again, I don't go through every section. I only go through the stuff that we need. So we're going to bounce around a lot. So you got to really pay attention to what section we're in, what we're talking about that day. I might mix a couple sections together. There's some days that we will take multiple days to even get through the sections so that we can get to the homework. There's some days I'll break it up into pieces and we'll do little homework each day. So you might get like 3 or 4 assignments a week. Just because I got to break it up so you can actually do it, so you're not overwhelmed. So there's little things like that. So just be aware of it. So the first section is all about functions. You can close your books now. You don't need it anymore. We're going to talk about functions today. So there's expressions and all that good stuff. That's the stuff we're going to talk about. I want to just talk about expressions. Let's just talk about this idea, this concept. Okay, what's an expression? What's an equation? What's the difference? Let's start there. That's a good conversation starter. Differences. What do we know? Expression versus an equation. Please.
Is an expression like words and numbers?
No, it could be. I mean, there's both. Expressions can have words. They can have numbers though too. Yeah, it can be both. I'm looking for a very specific thing though. You're onto something. We're gonna come back to that.
Don't equations have equal signs?
That's the only difference. Equation has an equal sign in it. Okay? That's the only difference. If you have an equation, you can solve it. There's some solution to that problem that makes it equal on both sides, left and right side. You could have an infinite number of solutions, but there is a solution to it because you got to solve for whatever variable, whatever letter you have. Okay, expressions cannot be solved. They are just merely simplified. You simplify them. Simplify. You don't solve. You just simplify as far as you can. So now we're going to come back to what words said. Numbers and letters. There's different types of expressions. There's verbal expressions, like words, like she was saying. Like it could just be word form. I don't think I have an example. Maybe I do. Probably have it from my Algebra 1 kids. They were doing expressions earlier today. Like this. No. Verbal expressions, right? They're written in word form, right? You might just have to write it out. What is the expression? What's the algebra formula that kind of represents it, right? That's a word form, right? There could be equations with the same thing. So if I go down, this one is the same as, that has an equal sign. Anytime you see the word is, typically that's an equal sign. There's an equal sign. Equation. It can be in word form, verbal form, right? But then we can also have just an algebraic form where it's just numbers and letters. So that's the differences. There's different types of expressions. Verbal, algebraic, exponential. So if you don't know what exponents are, something like this. It's exponential. There's logarithmic expressions. Those are things we're going to learn this year throughout little sections. You probably already know them. Like for this, what does this mean? What's the definition? What does that 3x to the power 2 actually mean right now? What do you think? Anybody, throw it out. What does it mean? Stuff, you know what I'm even talking about. So that's what we're going to talk about. Now, if you flip the pages. Just kind of flip. Try to find where section 2 starts. Just flip. Don't go to the content page, but just flip. Try to find section 2.
Found it.
Found it. Section 2. When did it start? What page?
Page 19.
19. 19. I did the same thing that you guys do when I first got this book a few years ago. I flipped through pages. It took me forever to figure out where section 2 even started. Because if you notice, they don't waste any space. They were just in the middle of doing homework problems on page 19, and then they went, let's just start section 2 here. And then they move on. It's a little pill, right? Super hard to identify that. I flipped for, I think it was like 50 or 60 pages before I'm like, I'm not even in the right section anymore. Like I can't. And I flip back. Look how many homework problems there were. It was 100 and some. What, 160? Whew, that's a lot. Okay, I don't assign that. That's ridiculous. I assign a few. I pick and choose. So when you see your assignments on the board, that's gonna be that green thing up there. I'll shut the door here in a little bit. When I write assignments, when we do book assignments, I'm not gonna go like 1 through 30 and what do you do? What's the operations there? What does it ask you to do if you know what X was?
I was gonna say take a 3x to a multiple 3x to the second power.
Okay, so what does it mean by second power? You're on
Taking it times 12.
Okay, good. Square, which I heard, it's 3 times x times itself. It's a terrible 3. That's what it means. This is the same thing. That's called expanded form. Right? These are little things we need to figure out so that when you get to a real problem for pre-calc, you know exactly what it's telling you to do. Taking 3 times x and then the x is squared. Now, how it could be different if they put parentheses. Now it's 3x times 3x. So if there's no parenthesis, we just assume the thing that has the power is repeated. But if there's a parenthesis here, now it's this. That's what it means. So 3x times 3x. Do we see the differences? Those are little things. That's called an exponential expression, right? There's exponents. There's vocab terms we need to talk about that. Square, I think I heard square earlier, right? Those are little things we need to discuss. We need to talk about how do you simplify. We need to talk about the order of operations. Little things that you don't remember from Algebra 1. It's been a long time, right? So we got to go through the little things so that way when we get to the more challenging problems, you don't have to worry about the easy stuff. You worry about what is it actually asking for. Those are the little things we're going to be discussing. Now, with expressions and equations, obviously these are kind of broken up into different sections. So like we'll eventually solve things in later sections. Right now we're just simplifying for the most part. That's kind of like the main topic for this first chapter. First section, I should say, not chapter, section. Okay, questions at all about that main topic? We're going to start really hot and heavy tomorrow. Okay, we're going to do quite a few of those. So that's going to be your first assignment. We're probably going to get our first assignment of the year other than the book assignment, right? The book cover. We'll get our first like actual workbook assignment probably tomorrow. Something short, simple, to the point. Probably something less than 10 problems that'll be like that. Where you have to simplify things and break stuff out. Okay, the next thing. This is something that I'm really surprised people don't remember. We did it in geometry, but that's what, 3 years ago, something like that, 2 years ago? So it's been a while since geometry days. Let's talk about the next thing. These are called sets. Okay, let's talk about that. It's a set. The symbol in the middle is a U. Sorry, it's a really bad U. And it's supposed to be a U. It's a set. Now, why we'd ever do sets? Sets are when there's an overlap of information. Maybe you're doing a science experiment, and you have certain controls or certain things you have to test. Well, if you agree in those two lists, there's certain things that they share. Agree? There's an overlap. Do you need to test it twice? No, you've already tested it once. It's going to be the same result, right? As long as it's controlled enough. So this symbol is called a union. It's called a union. They want you to add all the combinations together. So what are all the different numbers that you see there?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. These are all the different numbers I see. I'm just combining them down to one big list. That's a set. It's a union of two different sets. So in your science class, you can narrow it down, right? They do it a lot. They do it a lot in chemistry. You're doing certain, testing. Do you need to do them all? No. If your neighbor is doing some, you have a control. Just mix your combinations together. You'll be fine. Now, that's a union. There's such a thing as called an intersection. That's where it's an N. An intersection looks like this. Now they're looking for what's just the overlap. Where do they overlap each other? 2 and 4. Boom. There's a difference in answers. Where do they overlap? Those are little things we need to talk about. It's been a long time. I think we talked about that back in geometry days. Just a little bit. There's like one section in particular we talked about. Those are little things we need to know. We need to know the symbols. Like what you're looking at here, these are called sets. They have the little curly braces. They're separated by numbers. They're in numerical order, least to greatest. It's called a roster method, least to greatest. There's different ways of writing sets. You can write sets as a roster. You can write them in set builder notation with curly braces and other things like this. It would be X belongs to the natural numbers, and it would be X is greater than or equal to 1 and less than or equal to, can you erase that? 1 is less than or equal to X, which is less than or equal to, what, 6, something like that. It can be written like that. That's called a set builder notation. You can build your own set. 1 to 6 in natural numbers. These are like weird things we need to learn. We need to think about. Basically, pre-calc's just a setup for calc, so you got to think about everything we're trying to learn in this class is something that they're setting you up for in Calc 1. Can you get to that point where you're mentally prepared, where you know the symbols, the notation? That's really what this class is about. It's not any weird stuff like geometry where we're just studying definitions and all that good stuff. That's not what we do here. No proofs, nothing like that. It's basically just, do we know the mathematics? Do we know why it was created? Do we know how to use it for Calc 1 for those purposes? That's kind of what we're getting ourselves into. All right, questions with kind of what we're setting ourselves up for tomorrow and the next couple days? Okay, tomorrow, we're gonna be doing a lot of expressions, the stuff we talked about earlier. Can we simplify them as far as we can? Can we evaluate them if we plug numbers into X's and Y's? That's what we're doing. It'll be pretty easy. I think we'll probably get the assignment. Well, you probably even get it done before you walk out of here tomorrow. But it'll be a book assignment. It'll be on paper. So bring your paper, bring your Chromebook or your physical textbook, if you will. That way you can actually do some of these problems. Do we understand what our assignment's going to be tomorrow? The out of their textbook. Perfect. Okay. Book cover due by Friday. That's your first assignment technically of the year, even though most of you already have it done. You will have to get a new cover if you're going to replace it. If you know you're going to be gone, like I know Day over here told me she's going to be gone. Let me know. I'll try to get some information to you. I know, like, you guys are lucky enough. Your guys are period 6. There won't be too many days you guys are going to be gone for athletic events, unless it's like an all-day like conference thing. So that's kind of a good thing because period 9, those students are gone a lot. We'll miss a lot of class here in football or cross country or volleyball. So try to stay on top of homework. Okay, questions, comments, concerns. That's it for today. Easy peasy. Nice little intro day.
Or, do you have something that I can put this back in?